How is it going, guys? Hope you guys are having a fantastic day so far, but I'm here to bring you guys my review on Tokyo Ghoul chapter 134, which was entitled I Know Not. Now, to me, it feels very weird that we're actually getting Tokyo Ghoul out on a Tuesday instead of a Saturday, but there's actually a perfectly good explanation for that, and as it stands right now, we should all expect the new chapters for TG Urie to be coming out on Tuesdays instead of Saturdays. And the reason that is, in case some of you do not know, is because the wonderful people that actually take the time to translate this chapter into English so we can read it is due to the fact that they're unable to acquire the raw scans for each chapter basically earlier than they possibly can. So they used to possibly get it on a Thursday or Friday and then translate it and we'll have it out on Saturday. That's not the case anymore. As it stands right now, they're possibly getting it on Sunday or Monday, and now the new chapter will most likely be coming out on a Tuesday. So Tuesday should be the time where we all should be looking for the Tokyo Ghoul chapter. That is still volatile to change. We still don't know yet, but as it stands right now, expect Tuesday to be Tokyo Ghoul Day. But another thing that I do want to share with you guys is this poster I got while down at Comic-Con. This thing looks awesome. I got this actually at the Funimation booth for just giving an email address, and it talks about, you know, the final volume for Tokyo Ghoul to come out in the US, and I just think this poster looks really, really cool. Even on the back, you can see, like, it even has the poster for the Tokyo Ghoul live action to come out in Japan. Very cool poster. It even has a little note by Ishida basically saying, "Thank you so much, USA." Talks about the final volume, says, "Own the complete manga series today." Very cool poster. Last time to look at it, I just love this poster. This poster looks so awesome. Okay, now let's actually dive into this review because this was a very action-heavy chapter and there's not really too much to actually dive too well into detail, but there is some lunacy, some crazy moments that I just gotta point out that took place in this chapter. There's a cool reveal that I noticed very early on, and so let's just talk about this chapter. The first thing that we do have to talk about is this jump color page. Absolutely amazing. I noticed that this looks very similar to Ishida's Twitter icon right now. It's very beautiful. I love this, and it's basically talking about the 30 million sales, I believe, for the Tokyo Ghoul manga. It's on the road to 30 million, which I think is just absolutely amazing. Congratulations to Ishida for even getting up to that number and just for providing such a quality series for us to read on a weekly basis and then actually, you know, purchase the full volumes as they come out either in the US or any other country around the world. So congratulations to Ishida. He definitely deserved that. But the other color page, like this color cover page, is absolutely beautiful. And I even got to point this out too. This is so good. I know that everyone that is making a Tokyo Ghoul related video right now, odds are they're going to be having this as their thumbnail. I'm going to be guilty of that as well. The thumbnail for this video will most likely be this cover page with some minor edits and tweaks here and there just to make it a little bit different, but they won't be as noticeable. But I absolutely love it. I love how his craft and art style is just so improved over the course of the series. Toka looks absolutely gorgeous. I love the dialogue that's even mentioned here, basically saying, "Feathers and a life that remain in obscurity." Now, you can take this as positive or negative. This could foreshadow Toka possibly biting the dust later on. We don't know, but I kind of took this as, you know, Toka's life throughout all of the Tokyo Ghoul series, like all throughout it, because her living the ghoul lifestyle, her ukaku represents the feathers, you know, a bird, and just her overall life has remained in obscurity because when you look back on her life throughout the whole Tokyo Ghoul series, she's tried to live a normal life, going to school, trying to be as human as possible a ghoul can be. But everything she's done, everything that's gotten in her way up until now, she's still living in obscurity. She can't have a normal life. So that is basically my interpretation of what this dialogue right here on this page is basically saying. But I have no idea if this is foreshadowing bad things to come or if this is foreshadowing some good things to come. We don't know absolutely right now, but we will know when it pops up and we'll look back on this color page and we'll be like, ah, I get it now. Ishida is just a grand master of foreshadowing. So that is really cool, but let's start off with the big reveal on the first page of this chapter. And immediately, when I was reading through this, you know, we see Furuta basically on top of his desk, Shikare and Roma. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Forgive me, I do tend to pronounce some names wrong from time to time. Some of you even point that out. Please forgive me. It's just, sometimes they're just hard to pronounce. It's no big deal. I'll get them right eventually. But what I love about this little confrontation is Furuta lets it slip and even mentions the real name of Shikare, Rio. And I'm not talking about the bird Rio. I'm talking about this one right here that's gonna be up on the screen, this Rio, right here. And now I know that a lot of people have been theorizing and have basically utmost confirmed that the main character from the video game Tokyo Ghoul Jail, Ryo, was in fact Shikurai when he got introduced in Tokyo Ghoul Re, because even when you go back to Tokyo Ghoul Jail, and even if you buy the cover book, it has like a subliminal message in a way to Shikurai, because if you go to Shikurai's Wikipedia page and you look at the trivia section, it basically points out an image of Shikurai is hidden underneath the cover of the jail scenario book. That right there kind of like laid the groundwork for the theory that Ryo was Shikurai, because on the main cover you had Ryo, but once you removed that section, you had Shikurai. So put two and two together, you kind of got the sense that Ryo somehow transformed due to torture or something into Shikurai. And right here, Furuta basically confirms it that Shikurai is Ryo, and I was just like, yo, is this 100% confirmed? It might not be, it could be a translation error, but as it stands right now, I'm taking this as 100% confirmation that Shikurai is Ryo, and I'm like absolutely over the moon about this. I love it when theories actually come true for some people. There's no way that I came up with a theory, but just to see the similarities and people actually like look at all the information laid out in front of them and actually getting a theory right, bravo to you guys. So I absolutely love that. But the main chunk of this Urie and Kuriowa section is basically a fight scene. There's not really too much to dive into. I'll go through page by page to where I basically see what I want to talk about. But basically throughout this entire chapter, we see Urie and Kuriowa fighting off Roma and Ryo. And what is really cool about this is that Urie has a Quinque at all times, you know, with the Kagane that is basically emplaced for the Kokaku that he uses. But Kuriowa doesn't really have one at his disposal at the moment, and I love the fact that he actually uses a blade from the wall from the Washu branch office, and he just takes it out, and immediately Urie's like, why are you using that? That's not a Quinque. It's like, that's not gonna be able to cut them. And he's like, calm down, my boy, there's a trick to this. And I absolutely love, and you see throughout the entire chapter, that he's actually putting in work with just a blade, and he's actually able to cut them. Because we know with the Kuriowa lineage, they have superhuman strength. We don't know why, it's a rarity among humans, but this family tree seems to have it. And just getting to witness him wield this medieval blade and just cutting down Shikurai as he's battling him and actually cutting a Kagane in half with just a medieval blade is quite impressive, and I find that absolutely amazing. But as you go through this fight scene with Shikurai and Roma, they're absolutely toying and playing with both Urie and Kuriowa, but the faces that Ryo makes are absolutely hilarious throughout this entire chapter, even with Roma, because Roma is just a child in a candy store getting to have this fight right now. Like, she is in heaven. And I love the moment when Urie just kicks her, like, as she's going to aid Ryo, and just like obliterates her, knocks her clean off her feet, and then we go to see Kuriowa get his hand basically knocked off by Ryo's Kagane, and he makes this weird face, he oinks, screams, and then this Kagane shoots out and we see his arm missing. Now, I actually missed this in my live reaction, and it wasn't until my third read-through of the chapter did I realize that this is a fake arm that Kuriowa actually has in this chapter, because if you go back to Tokyo Ghoul Part 1, he lost his left arm during the Owl Suppression arc and fighting Yoshimura. So right here, he actually had a prosthetic this entire time. And the only reason I noticed that is because once his arm was gone, there was no blood. And I was like, wait a minute, why is there no blood? And that's when it clicked in me. And I was like, oh, wait a minute, that's a prosthetic. It's the same thing with Juzo with his leg. He doesn't have a hand right there. So there's no need for blood to actually come out when it's actually not a real arm that's getting cut off from his limb. It's just a prosthetic. So that right there, I know some people even pointed it out to me, but it's a good note that that has still remained consistent with Ishida, and we finally get to see the prosthetic of Kuriowa come into play right here. And moving forward with the battle from there, you know, Roma grabs the sword, tries to attack Kuriowa by like screaming Excalibur, which I find absolutely hilarious. Again, she's like a kid in a candy store, and Kuriowa makes quick work of her, just grabs her by her arm and just tosses her. Like, she is basically nothing compared to the brute strength of Kuriowa. But this next section where Roma is going up against Urie, and we have this moment to where from Roma's playbook that we've seen early on in Tokyo Ghoul Re finally comes back, because Roma tends to do this whenever she's fighting people, pretends to be helpless on the ground, and then actually uses her Kagane to burst through her stomach. She's actually harming herself when she does this, and just have her Kagane come spewing out. And she actually did this way back during the auction arc, like during chapter 21 of Tokyo Ghoul. Up on the screen right now, you're going to see a comparison of chapter 21 when she did it the first time, and then now. It's very similar. Of course, it's drawn a little bit differently, but as soon as I saw this happen, I immediately thought of the auction raid. I was like, wait a minute, Roma's done this before. And even Urie noticed this because he's done his research. He's looked at all the CCG records. He knows when it comes to fighting ghouls, he knows all the battle strategies and all the combat that has been done throughout all of the operations. So when it came to basically fighting Roma, he was well prepared for this and immediately made quick work of her, like immediately stabbed her through her head. And I was like, yo, Roma's getting the shit beat out of her right now. I love her character. She's absolutely stupid, idiotic, and adorable, but she got what she deserved in this chapter. And then as Roma is lying on the ground, we see Papa Kuriowa just choking out Rio, and he's just shouting out, boy, girl, burl, and immediately, I think, falls unconscious. We don't really know yet if he actually ended up dying by getting his like life choked out of him by Papa Kuriowa, but we're basically left with Urie and Kuriowa lying on top, and then we see Furuta holding a rubber ducky. Like, the Master Troll himself continues to amaze me with just the stupidity that he just brings from chapter to chapter. He is holding a fucking rubber ducky. It's like a stress ball to him at work. Instead, he's just sitting at his desk, squeezing the rubber ducky, and it's like, you haven't beaten me yet, boy, behind you. And of course, Urie being kind of a little bit cocky right here, but then also, why would you believe Furuta when he tells you behind you? It's like, why would you believe Master Troll himself? But even that line right there is a troll from the Master Troll, because he's trying to basically fake out Urie to make him look behind himself, but he knows he's not gonna look behind him, which basically gives the opportunity to either Rio or Roma to stab Urie through his neck and body with multiple Kagane limbs. Odds are this is a Rinkaku, and most likely I'm thinking that this was Rio that did this. It could have been Roma, but we're not going to get the reveal and the aftermath of what happened to Urie until hopefully next chapter, or if not that, 2 chapters from now. But this was just classic Ishida right here too. As soon as something big happened, immediately went away over to the underground, and we get to see the Oggai basically drop in on everyone in the underground, and all carnage basically ensues at that point. So the Oggai descend into the underground and start brutalizing and cutting down all of the fodder ghouls that lie in the underground, but it takes Toka, who's still weakened from human food, and she actually puts in quite a bit of work right here, actually, subduing 2 Oggai members, which I gotta give props for, because not only is she eating human food, she is weakened by that. So the fact that she's still able to do that is quite impressive. But we have this mini cutaway to where the provision squad with Kaneki and Banjo, even Tsukiyama is there, and Kaneki is starting to realize that there is a bad feeling he has in this pit of his stomach. He knows that something is wrong, and I'm really hoping that he acts on that and actually beelines it back to the underground, because there is going to be some carnage ensuing, as we can tell with the last panel of this chapter. But then, this is when we get the reveal of who actually is down in the underground, to where we can kind of rest easy for a little bit until that last panel of this chapter, because we have the reveal that not only is Yomo down there, but we also have Naki and all of the white suits, and then Misa and the triple blades. And that is a good squad to have down there right now, protecting everyone down in the underground. And I love the page 19 bottom panel. The squad lineup right now looks so good right there. Like, that is a good squad to have protecting the people in your organization. But the only X factors that I don't see currently, we haven't seen Nishiki yet. We haven't seen Zero Squad, and we don't really know what Ayato is currently doing right now. So I'm kind of hoping that Zero Squad is among the underground somewhere, and if things get really, really bad and everyone's starting to retreat, I'm hoping that Ayato comes in clutch, bringing all of the underground ghouls. Even this legendary one-eyed ghoul from the underground comes with him. We get this huge reveal. He ends up protecting Toka and all of the members. That would be awesome if that happens. But as it stands right now, we have white suits, triple blades, and Yomo standing their ground amongst all the Oggai, and then they show up. Mitsuki and Aura make their entrance, and immediately, as soon as I saw them, I was like, oh no, shit's about to go down. And I immediately thought that Mitsuki was gonna jump down and immediately start attacking Toka, but no, that's not the case. Mitsuki says these words to the Oggai, which I kind of take as a trigger word, because as soon as Mitsuki says, quit napping, all of the fallen Oggai get up and immediately like turn away from Goat, and they start freaking out. They start going berserk. And this reminded me of Kaneki in Kakuja mode, but also when Kaneki got his eyes gouged out by Arima. And this right here, you knew that something bad was about to happen. One of them's hitting their head against the wall. One's in the fetal position. They're all screaming and crying like, why'd they kill him? Obviously, serious shit happened in their past. Like, we know that these are tortured souls within the Oggai, because not only did they lose their parents to ghouls at a very young age, but they were under the experience of Dr. Kano, and who knows what type of hell he put the Oggai through. Like, we can only imagine until we actually get a flashback that describes the horrors that the Oggai had to go through under the care of Dr. Kano. But as soon as they start freaking out, one of them's like shouting, I'm breaking, and then we see this large ass Cogne just sprouting out from the bottom panel, and that's when we go to the last page. We see Mitsuki with this evil look in her eye, just basically saying, turn them to curry. And then the final page, final panel, all of them are simultaneously framing out. Like, that is insane. Like, I'm not sure if that was just the trigger word or if this is just like something that was programmed into the Oggai, but with all of them framing out right now, this just spells disaster for everyone down in the underground. And I don't know if people are going to die. I don't know if people will survive, but I think that we're going to get some deaths coming up in the latest chapter. And it does kind of make me worried, but I'm also kind of excited too, because this is why I fell in love with Tokyo Ghoul. The uncertainty of what is to happen. And it actually makes me fear for the characters' lives, and that's why we all love Tokyo Ghoul. It's sadistic, it's tragic, it's sad, but that's what we signed up for when we started reading Tokyo Ghoul, and it even laid it out for us at the end of chapter 1. If you were to make a story about my life, it would certainly be a tragedy. And this is showing it right here. Like, tragedy is about to come, and I'm both excited and terrified. But this last panel is just beautiful. I love the artwork. It's just so appealing to me just as an artist. Like, it looks so cool. So that is basically everything that went down in this chapter. There are some ridiculous things with the rubber ducky, which I'm still like baffled by the fact that Furuta even had that. But then also the reveal of Rio, and then this last panel. I am just so excited. I'm hoping that next Tuesday we get this chapter 135. Hopefully there's no delays and there's no problems, but I am super excited right now. Like, this is just so awesome. So guys, I definitely want to hear your guys' thoughts and theories about what's going to be happening in the future chapters to come. What do you think is going to be going down in chapter 135? Will we continue with either Urie or what's going on right now with the Oggai? My bet is on the Oggai. We're going to continue off with that, and maybe halfway through the chapter we're going to skip over to Urie and we'll get answers there. But honestly, right now, I don't know who's going to die, who's going to survive. Will Kaneki make it back in time? There's so many questions right now. And how the hell are the Oggai able to frame out all at the same time? So leave your thoughts down in the comments below, guys. And if you guys are finding me for the first time and you feel like subscribing and just talking Tokyo Ghoul as it comes out week to week, feel free to do so. I would love to talk with you guys. I do live reactions and reviews to the manga every single week, and I absolutely love this series. But what I love most is getting to talk with all of you guys. I love your theories, I love your thoughts. You guys are absolutely amazing, and I love you all. So that's gonna be the end of this review, guys. Until next week, hopefully next Tuesday, when we get chapter 135 of Tokyo Ghoul. I'll talk with you guys then. All right, guys, see you later.